Good evening. I present to you today on this wonderful lesson of base hitting Captain Tweaky about witch doctors.
Hello, thank you, Buck. And thank you for having me. Today we'll be discussing witch doctors, a lesson in base hitting design. I personally use the witch doctors for base hitting. I've had nothing but success using them. The design.
So as you can see, we're going to come into this base. I know the consensus, a lot of people think levels mean something. It doesn't. You have to go into a base that you're able to hit, whether it's a level 80 or a level 120. It depends on how far along they are in the game. On this particular one, with this ship build, I have Witch Doctor, and that is the primary discussion of it. I do have Breachers in it, but the Breachers are built very similar to the Witch Doctors, where I got the idea. And at any time, if you want to make your own or don't like the design, I always try to use the top tech or the newest tech and the best defense, the higher the number. So that's something that you may want to do or not, but these Witch Doctors are still very useful for going to get alliance points and resources.
Yes, I myself have been using witch doctors practically ever since 5 years ago, I believe. Oh, sorry, I've been corrected. 2 years ago. They are, for me, my fleet. That's what I use.
That's his go-to fleet. And there are a lot of bases you can still hit. The only time that the Witch Doctors may be difficult is when you try to hit a live base for bounties. But I see only top-end players playing bounties. I don't get a lot of lower ones. Which I think on that too, as just an opinion out from somebody, who knows, maybe it's mine, maybe it's not. But do the bounty. Even though you're going to get whooped on, you can still trickle in a little bit of points and get one, maybe two items, whether it's a heavy transformer or maybe it's a new hull. It's still something.
I myself have gotten up to 5 transformers now.
6?
6 using the witch doctors. Witch doctors are a very good fleet to use.
Yeah, 6. So, and even this bit's, people are using the older Vanquishers, I think those are called. They're still good to have. It also allows me to test out fleets I haven't used in a while and see the difference, because when you get the newer stuff and you just go in, people complain about, oh, you're driving bad, or if you did this, I could prep your base and mess you up. But with some of the builds, it takes no skills. You just let the game go on auto or point where you want it to go, and then it'll smash the base. And again, you can't drive a ship. Everyone keeps saying how they drive a ship. A ship is on water, and that is a sail, because a drive shaft is on vehicles that are on land. Ships use oars and rudders and other stuff, so it's called sailing. Even though they don't use sails, it's still called sailing, just like you still call a pilot a pilot. Even though they don't use gliders or the old propellers, they use jets. Anyways. Well, if you ever feel that way, if you ever feel like going, don't worry about it. This game is always changing, always complicated, and a lot of stuff they put on here, they will revamp or refactor or nerf. But anyways, here's another base that's got a different fracture, and you can still use the witch doctors and the Poseidon, which helps the witch doctors out, make them a little stronger. And again, I have breachers in it, but the breachers are in the back as backup, which helps knock down the walls. I mean, you could use all 5 witch doctors, but to make this video today, I left my ships the way they were because I didn't want to grab a couple other witch doctors out, because that's another thing I've done over the years. I add to my fleet. So when the breachers came out, I started adding the breachers to the fleet, and then when I had better breachers, I made newer breachers, and then when I made howlers, I added the howlers to the breachers. You can do all 5 of the same. A lot of people do. That's a good, safe, normal routine to do, but I like to change it up because depending on what base I hit, I may have to use a different tactic because there's so much variety and there's so much different ways to go. And don't be afraid to experiment. People have all these questions and they want, well, how do I beat this level? Well, again, it depends on who you are talking about. How is this base really made? And there's a lot of variables that go on, so try it out. Make a build, use higher numbers, stronger survival, armor, deflection, because they always change that. And you can go check in the forums, or you can check videos. I do have a bunch of other videos to check out, but try it and test it. Don't be afraid to test something new. And still, don't be afraid to ask people in your sector or in forums or whatever. I usually like trying to ask higher level players that have been playing for a long time and know what they're doing. Your thoughts on that?
Some higher level players know a lot of stuff. They will sometimes give you knowledge. They will share if you ask them nicely.
Yeah, don't be a dick on comms. That's a good way to get shunned.
Yeah. Test 1, 2, 3. Test.
Right, but try to have like a conversation with me.
A very British conversation.
Well, I don't know. We're doing British, so we have multiple voices, I guess.
I like that one music you had, though.
That's what we're going to use.
Okay, because I would think that would be quite British sounding. And
we'll test it then. Talk British.
Very well. What shall I say? The witch doctor's a bloody fine ship.
Yeah, you can use that. Okay.